who control the gold will decide the future. Chapter 1.
Mont Jon, Assassin's Creed 2. The Auditore noble family may be fictional, but the Tuscan town in which they own a large villa certainly isn't. Mont Jon is a walled commune deep in the heart of Tuscany and is a key tourist attraction in the region. But while adding in the second home of our favorite assassin and his uncle Mario definitely counts as artistic license, Ubisoft also removed many of Mont Jon's most famous sites, like its many piazzas and famous churches. It's strange that they would choose to forego the town's landmarks and beautiful architecture, especially when it's so small that it couldn't have been as hard to recreate it accurately. Cesare Borgia and his army also never visited, though plenty of Assassin's Creed fans do today.
So consider this an invitation from my family to yours!
The Medjay, Assassin's Creed Origins.
I am a Medjay. I am a feather in the eagle's wing.
Bayek is a Medjay, an elite and skilled warrior who protects the people of Egypt in the 1st century BC. But there are numerous problems with this premise, primarily that the Medjay no longer existed by the time 49 BC rolled around. References in historical texts to the Medjay, the pharaoh's private police force, and in the 20th dynasty, which finished in the year 1077 BC.
Does Cleopatra still rule?
There is no ruler in Egypt, plunged into the will of various tyrants.
Our queen has abandoned us for Rome.
This is over 1,000 years before Assassin's Creed Origins, and there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that the Medjay persisted for this long. It's not clear why Bayek needed to belong to the Medjay at all, and couldn't have just been a skilled warrior who suffers a great tragedy.
Nothing. I was a Medjay. A husband, a father. I painted half of Egypt with the blood of those who took that from me. All of it over a relic like this one.
Fake Famine, Assassin's Creed Unity.
If the people think the royal family has been hoarding food in a time of famine.
Bedlam. Just the sort of thing Germain seems to thrive on.
The Templars and Assassins are intimately involved with history's biggest events, and true to form, much of Unity's plot revolves around the Templars orchestrating the French Revolution. But the Templars this time are the Jacobins, the faction who ruled the First French Republic, and Unity says it was these revolutionaries who engineered the famine plaguing France to encourage the population to rise up.
Good. And I'm instructed to tell you to make certain one of the bags leaks.
Yes, madame.
It's an incredibly blinkered way to portray history, blaming the revolutionaries for the very real grain shortages that partly caused the revolution, and which happened because of poor harvests rather than a far-reaching conspiracy. Mohawk Allegiance, Assassin's Creed 3.
We've been receiving reports of Allied natives working with the British. I've asked my men to put a stop to it.
A Native American protagonist in a AAA blockbuster is a great moment for representation, but Connor's allegiances don't make much sense to anyone with a cursory knowledge of the American Revolution.
Do not fire until you see the whites of their eyes!
Connor spends the game fighting alongside the Patriots, rubbing shoulders with the Founding Fathers. He is eventually shocked to discover the Mohawks support the Loyalists, which was because the British promised that if they won the war, they wouldn't steal the land from the natives. But it doesn't make sense that Connor wouldn't already know this, since he frequently visits his tribe, or that he would align himself with the Patriots in the first place. Leonardos missing years. Assassin's Creed 2.
Now all that's left is to remove your ring finger.
Really?
I'm sorry, but this is how it must be done. The blade is designed to ensure the commitment of whoever wields it.
One of the most influential artists and inventors in history, it would have been a crime for Ubisoft to head to Renaissance Italy and not include Leonardo da Vinci. But there were plenty of things they chose to omit where he was concerned, specifically what he was doing between 1476 and 1478.
Oh, this? A hobby of mine. Of course you are familiar with Pythagoras.
Remind me.
Ezio first encounters Da Vinci in Florence in 1476, but at the same time, Da Vinci was facing down accusations of homosexuality. This goes completely unmentioned except in a footnote in the in-game codex, which could be easily missed. But a more direct error comes later on, when Leonardo moves to Venice in the 1480s, despite the fact that he lived in Milan at this time.
I don't know. It's only a prototype, an idea. It's not ready yet.
Pirate Code, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Walk with us, Kenway. There's trouble brewing.
While it's certainly one of the best pirate video games ever made, Black Flag misses out on many key aspects of what a pirate's life was actually like. One thing sadly missing is pirate codes, the rules set out by the pirate captains for their crews that new crewmates would have to agree to.
Yeah. Taken from the holds, just as you said.
Little more than a blowpipe. But they'll do.
These codes of conduct were a major part of piracy, dictating how men would behave, how disputes would be resolved, and how many shares of treasure they were entitled to. We never learn what Jackdaw's code of conduct is, or how Edward really leads his crew, though notorious pirates Blackbeard and Black Bart had detailed codes of their own.
A merry life and a short one, that's my motto. It's all the optimism I can muster.
The Borgias, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
You intend to give me money?
No, I do not.
Then I will use the piece of Eden to get what I want. Your help is not necessary.
The villainous and violent Cesare Borgia and his corrupt family, Father Rodrigo and his sister Lucretia, may be great video game antagonists, but their portrayal is far from reality. In fact, some scholars have accused Ubisoft of completely buying into the anti-Borgia propaganda that was spread at the time.
No one kneels as low as Lucrezia Borgia! Who put you up to this? Was it your brother or your father? Perhaps a bit of both? Perhaps at the same time?
Chiudi la bocca! None speak ill of the Borgia!
For instance, the inappropriate relationship between Cesare and Lucretia may well be complete slander, as there's no historical evidence to back this up. In actuality, the Borgias weren't any better or worse than any other noble families, none of which were particularly moral, like the Medici and the Sforza whom Ezio actually aligns himself with.
Madonna.
Oh, you're good. The ladies must like you.
Louis XVI's Trial, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Je meurs innocent. Messieurs, je suis innocent de tout ce dont on m'accuse.
Upon release, there was a lot of controversy around how Unity handled the French Revolution, one of the most notoriously complex parts of history. But though the nature of the revolution and exactly what it accomplished is still debated by scholars, there are a lot of indisputable facts too, like how many members of the National Convention voted in favor of executing the king.
He who control the gold will decide the future. Is it Roger?
Unity tells us that there was only one vote in it, and a key Templar cast the deciding ballot. The result was 361 to 360 for the execution. However, in reality, it was 394 to 321 in favor, a decent majority for the convention.
This was the truth Dumoulin died for. The divine right of kings is nothing but the reflection of sunlight upon gold.
No brothels. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. A few people lauded Syndicate for choosing not to portray fallen women in London slums, but there's a far less accurate city because of it. Though courtesans played an important role in earlier games, Syndicate doesn't have them at all, despite the fact Victorian London was not only full of ladies of the night, but the culture was very concerned about them. Charles Dickens even built Urania Cottage dedicated to rehabilitating these women. And though working girls did finally appear in the Jack the Ripper DLC, his famous victims were rewritten as undercover assassins. The DLC side content was too little too late, and their absence was still sorely felt in the base game.
There's not one person in this filthy borough who'd have defended us as you have, Miss Evie. Thank you.
No Jewish characters. Assassin's Creed series.
I have been ordered to keep your rallies off the streets.
No, you must listen to me. The people in this city are in dire need of your assistance.
To date, the only game that has Jewish characters is Syndicate, and only because those characters are also important historical figures, Karl Marx and Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli. Every other game, and still Syndicate to a large extent, omits the Jewish populations of many major cities, like the complete absence of Rome and Venice's Jewish quarters in Ezio's game, and also no Jewish characters in Jerusalem.
I wasn't informed of any new bodyguard. Who's your commanding officer?
In Origins, Alexandria's Jewish district does exist and contains the Greek synagogue, but Bayek still meets no Jewish characters. It's a glaring omission that Ubisoft should hope to rectify in future games.
We seem to have that in common. Auf Wiedersehen, my friends.
Do you agree with our picks?
Check out this other recent clip from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.